Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Abisodo. Today on the menu we have Ogbono soup, and in this video I'll be showing you two methods on how to make your Ogbono soup. There are quite a number of methods to make Ogbono soup, but these two are going to be the easiest. So come along as I hold your hands and show you how to make super delicious Ogbono soup. First, let's go through all the ingredients we're going to be using to make this Ogbono soup. For the proteins, I have some red beef or cow beef here. I'm also going to be using some assorted. This has shaki, it has liver, it has roundabouts, it has a body, and so much more. You can use any type of assorted that you want or that you have. Personally, I find Ogbono soups that don't have assorted meat very boring. It's a personal preference. If you do not like it, you can skip it. I have some cow skin, also known as Ogbono. I have some snails as well. And then I have this stockfish. I love the flavor that stockfish adds into my Ogbono soup. If you do not have it or if you do not like it, you can skip it. I have dried prawns. Now we have the onions. I have the Ogbono itself. This is what Ogbono looks like before grinding. I learned some people do not know what the Ogbono seeds look like. So here you go. Next up, I have my crayfish. I'm going to be grinding this into powder. I have scotch bonnet pepper. I have Cameroon pepper. I love this not only for the heat but also the flavor. I have palm oil. For my leaves, I love to use a combination of ugu leaves and uziza leaves. Now let's proceed to cooking our Ogbono soup. This is method 1, and the first thing you want to do is to boil your offals. That's the assorted meat or intestine as you like to call it. And I'm going to be adding my beef. Now I know some people will say don't add your beef to your assorted. I don't see why I shouldn't do that. If that's your preference, you can boil them separately. Add in onions, add in your seasoning powder, add some salt. I'm going to be adding some beef flavor. This is totally optional. I just have that in the house. Now give this a good mix, combine it together. It's important to note that the flavor or the taste of your Ogbono soup is determined from how it starts. What that means is you have to season your assorted very well, or you have to season your proteins very well. If you do not season it well, you most likely will not come out with a good Ogbono taste. Now, I allowed that to boil for about 5 minutes because I want, all of that to soak some of the spices and seasonings first before I proceed to add water. After adding water, you're going to cover and allow this boil on medium to low heat until the beef and the assorted are soft. While that's cooking, I'll proceed to grind my Ogbono seeds. You can either buy Ogbono in the markets that's already grinded, or you can bring it home to grind yourself if you have a good blender. I added some crayfish into the Ogbono seeds, and I'm just going to go ahead to blend it until it becomes powder. After grinding the Ogbono, I also proceeded to grind some of the crayfish into crayfish powder. Now to the stockfish. I like to soak my stockfish in salt and hot water because the salt is going to help remove all the excess dirt, and the hot water as well, and it's going to help soften it because this stockfish can be pretty hard. So I love to soften it before I add it into my soup. So just soak it in some hot water and leave to sit for about 5 minutes. Now the beef and the assorted are already cooked and they are soft enough to my preference. Now it's time to add the other orishi. I'll be going in with my Ogbono. I have my dried prawns. I cooked my snail separately. I'm also going to add the stockfish. Then I'll go in with my grinded pepper. Then the Cameroon pepper. I love the local flavor that Cameroon pepper gives to my soups or to Ogbono soup. The Ogbono seeds we grinded. This is what it looks like. This is what grinded Ogbono looks like. Now adding your palm oil into the Ogbono, and you want to combine this together until you have a paste-like consistency. Now, once you're done combining together, this is what it looks like. Place that bowl into your pot of boiling assorted. This is why you cannot use plastic bowl and always use a safe bowl. Stainless steel or glass is highly recommended. Cover and allow this boil for about 5 to 7 minutes. After about 7 minutes, the ogbono paste would have melted, so it's not going to be as crumbly as it was earlier. It would actually look a little bit like a melted paste, if that makes any sense. Now carefully take this out. Emphasis on being careful. Next, you're going to scoop the ogbono and put into your pot of boiling assorted. Your heat should be on medium-low. Now gently combine and incorporate everything together. In a case where you're not sure of the proportion of broth or liquid that you need to have a good ogbono consistency, what I'll advise is scoop out some of the assorted broth and set aside before adding your ogbono paste. That way it's easy for you to control the thickness of your ogbono soup. If it's too watery and you don't have extra ogbono in the house, then there's going to be a problem, and we do not want that. Gently combine everything together and you notice that the consistency of the ogbono is beginning to get thick. Allow to boil for about 3 to 4 minutes and then go ahead to add some crayfish powder. I'm also going to add some fish seasoning that I have in the house. That's totally optional. Now, some people say do not cover your ogbono. Personally, I cover my ogbono when I'm cooking. If you're very sure that the ogbono you have is fresh and is good, then you don't have to worry about covering. But if you're not sure, please just leave it open to avoid stories that touch. Afterwards, I'm going to add my leaves. I have ugu leaves and uziza leaves. After combining everything together, at this point, I'm going to taste if it needs more seasoning or more salt. I felt like mine needed some more seasoning and salt, so I added some seasoning powder. But whenever I'm cooking my soup, instead of adding more salt at the end, I love to use crayfish powder instead. Crayfish has salt content, so it not only adds the salt content but also adds more flavor, and it is so good. Allow to simmer for some minutes and your ogbono soup is ready. This method is definitely fail-proof, and it's my favorite method. No one has tried this method and their ogbono soup did not turn out good. Now let's move ahead to method 2. This second method is what I call old school method. This is what my mom used to use to make her ogbono soup, and this is what I learned making ogbono soup with. However, along the line, for some reason, the method stopped working all the time. I think that's because of the way the ogbono seeds were preserved. I'm not very sure, but it just stopped having that good viscosity for your ogbono. And this method is, after adding your assorted, once it's boiled, add in palm oil, add your seasoning, add your pepper. You're basically going to add everything you want to use in your ogbono soup except the ogbono powder and allow that come to a boil. Once it has boiled, add in your ogbono powder and then combine together. You'll notice the consistency will begin to thicken, and all you have to do is allow that simmer, add in your vegetables, and your ogbono soup is ready. Super easy, but for some reason it started to act up, like I said earlier, and that's why most people stopped using this method. But the method is still very good. What I added there was my fish powder. You can use crayfish powder instead. At this point, I noticed that my ogbono soup was a bit too thick, so I added water. Some people like their ogbono a bit runny. Personally, I love my ogbono soup to be thick and not runny at all. Now, whatever your preference is, you know that you can add water, or if you have broth left, you can add that into your ogbono soup if it turns out too thick. Now, adding the vegetables, combine together, allow to simmer for some minutes, and ogbono soup is ready. If you have watched up until this stage and you have not hit that subscribe button, why, I just showed you 2 amazing methods to make your ogbono soup, and trust me, you're going to love it here. So please hurry, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also type in the comment section ogbono soup if you have watched up until this stage. What's your favorite swallow to pair your ogbono soup with? You can use eba, you can use fufu, you can use semovita. Let me know your favorite pair in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye and stay blessed.